Bonjour, everyone. Excuse my French, it's not very good. It's a very limited. It only makes sense to say at least one word, but since we're reviewing a French aircraft today, so today we have for review the quite delightful the Mirage 2005F. As noted, this Mirage 2000 is in the colors of Armée de l'Air, a French Air Force, and their historically signature blue and gray camouflage pattern. This specific Mirage 2000 with a tail code or a serial number, the 2-AB, based at Dijon, France. So, to kick things off, we'll cover some background on the aircraft history, then we'll dive into the model discussion. Now, to understand how Mirage was born, well, we start our story with the early design, initiation, and development of this aircraft. So, the very first Mirage built by Dassault was called the Mystère Delta prototype, which basically evolved into the Mirage 1 after undergoing with some modifications. This single-engine Delta wing aircraft made its first flight in 1955 and was the starting point for a famous Mirage 3 line of the aircraft. The Mirage 3 design at the end of the 1955. The Mirage 3 made its maiden flight on May 12, 1958, though the first Mirage prototype had its first flight in 1956, a single engine bomber fighter aircraft with a delta wing and fuselage designed according to the area rule. The combination of the area rule is a principle emphasized by making a smoother cross-sectional area and minimizing the wave drag at a transonic and supersonic speeds. So the French Air Force has taken delivery of 95 Mirage 3C and 59 Mirage 3B slash B1 slash B2 and a BE, and the D version basically for the export market. Now, 70 Mirage R and RD and 183 Mirage 3E and a 50 Mirage 5F, putting the total at 457 aircraft. The last of those aircraft were withdrawn from the operational units, which was in 1994. Some, however, were still used at a flight test center. After that, the Mirage 3550 family points to France's high-ranking position among the world's industrial nations. Um, a total of 1,400 Mirage 3550 were built. Incidentally, and more than 80 versions of the Mirage 3 were introduced during its service life. These variants were developed by Dassault Aviation and other nations for specific missions, including interception, training, and tactical reconnaissance. The export versions were typically giving a country specific letter code. For example, let's say the Israeli Mirage 3 CJ was derived from the French Mirage 3C, basically a license built. Moving on, so to comprehend the entire history of this aircraft, we must begin at its inception. In 1953, the Air Force General Staff and the authorities concerned at a rising weight and the cost of the aircraft. So they began drawing up specifications for a light interceptor aircraft. In reply, the Dassault Corporation was ambitious and submitted its draft project to the French Air Force program, or better known the Marcel, to replace the Dassault's Super Mystère aircraft. Now, at the time, the Super Mystère was the pinnacle of the Dassault's first generation jet development, which began with the Dassault MD-450 Oregon aircraft. It was a transitional aircraft that could break the sound barrier, but it was still relied on a conventional design. Moving on, the Super Mystère served in the French Air Force from May 1958 until its retirement in November 1977. And after Super Mystère, Dassault's goals shifted towards producing a more advanced generation of fighter jets, including the multi-role and more advanced. Then the Mirage 3 officially took over from the Super Mystère in the French Air Force with the entry into service of the first production model, which was the Mirage 3C in December 1961. Uh, so this marked a major generational shift from the uh, Super Mystère aircraft, the first mass-produced supersonic fighter in Western Europe. Mach 2 capable fighter was the Mirage 3, which is considerably a high speed in the Mirage series, and sustaining to produce a single-seat delta wing aircraft configuration with a SNICMA ATAR 9C after burning turbojet engine, alongside implementing the boosters like the SEPR or SEPR 841, which is a liquid propellant rockets. It was mounted and carried in a nacelle under the rear fuselage of the Mirage 3C. The purpose was designed for a substantial extra power at a high altitude, um, basically giving the pilot the ability for over 80 seconds, specifically for interception mission scenarios. So the first series of the flight tests gives rise to refinements in the delta wing aerodynamics configuration. However, it was clear that the Mirage 3C had a significant design problems related to its delta wing configuration design and its early avionics, which ultimately affected its performance in a certain combat situations, particularly at lower speeds and altitudes. The delta wing only design lacked a um, separate horizontal tailplane, which compromised low speed handling and led to a higher landing speeds. Further, in 1963, the French Air Force Armée de l'Air issued a requirement for an aircraft capable of low-level penetration and air defense to meet the requirements for better short takeoff and landing capabilities. So Dassault developed the Mirage F1 as a private venture, basically differentiating it from the delta-winged Mirage 3. As I've mentioned earlier, during the infancy of the Mirage 3, because the development was hampered by a series of operational anomalies, so Dassault built the Mirage F1 as a design foundation to create a successor with improved performance characteristics such as better low altitude handling, longer range and shorter landing distances, etc., while aiming for a lower cost and complexity than its predecessors, which is the Delta Wing. Further, the new design of the Mirage F1 featured a swept wing with a flaps and slats. Um, the Mirage F1 first flew in 1966 and entered service with the French Air Force in 1973 as the primary all-weather interceptor, consequently adding another platform to replace the Super Mystère in that role. Moving on now into the Mirage 2005F. Let's see the Mirage 2005F and how France built one badass fighter jet. Sure, the Mirage 2000 does not have the name recognition like the F-35, the F-22, or even the Su-57. And yet, while she might not be the state of the art, but trust me, the Mirage 2000 5F is one of the tough fighters out there. Though the Mirage 2000 bears a superficial resemblance to the dynasty of the Dassault's delta-winged fighters that preceded it. Well, the aircraft featured marked advances over the earlier Mirages in terms of structure, aerodynamics, propulsion, and systems. It represented an ideal modern application for a classic tailless delta configuration. The Mirage 2000, which would be established as the backbone of the French Air Force as a fourth generation multi role fighter, while also scoring success in the export market. Well, the first Mirage 2005F was reworked, the Mirage 2000C prototype that made its initial flight on April 27, 1991. The Mirage 2005 standard was developed in response to the export market and upgraded French Air Force as well. Entered operational service in 2000, was designed with technology with significant upgrades, including fly-by-wire controls that offered instant response to the to pilot input, which basically less workload. The development of the advanced aircraft began in 1970s, and it was a vast improvement over previous generation of Dassault's warplanes. Its origins could be traced to an in-house Dassault's project. However, the Mirage 1000, when Dassault's Aviation canceled that project, however, Mirage 1000, this new design, which became the Mirage 2000, borrowed key features from its lineage while solving the shortcomings of previous designs. The new official specifications were required, and the results was the development of the affordable interceptor fighter, provided considerable lift, other aerodynamics capabilities such as the low drag, and plenty of internal volume of fuel and avionics, particularly the if memory serves here, folks, I think it's called the RDY radar system. It also featured movable surfaces that could be continuously adjusted to give exactly the required trajectory. The aircraft's computers-based flight controls also ensure that it was more agile, handled better at low speed, and it was able to land at more manageable velocity. Just recently, France made the decision to provide Mirage 2005F aircraft to Ukraine in the late 2024. The first batch of 6 Mirages and pilots arrived in Ukraine in early February 2025. Announcements by President Emmanuel Macron, practically speaking, responding to the growing threat posed by Russian drones, which have became a major component of Russia's military strategy and the war against Ukraine. These UAVs, particularly suicide drones, have been used extensively to target Ukrainian military positions and the civilian infrastructure and supply lines. As we can imagine, these drones continue to play a prominent role in Russia's strategy. Um, the fourth generation Mirage 2005F is expected to provide Ukraine with a much needed capability to intercept and neutralize these threats. Basically, they represent a significant upgrade over Ukraine's aging Soviet era fighter fleet. This decision was also in the line with France's broader commitment to support Ukraine and its NATO allies in countering Russian aggression, to ensure the effectiveness deployment of these Mirages. Also, the French Air Force organized several training sessions for Ukrainian pilots and ground crews. These training programs carried out in France and Ukraine were aimed at ensuring smooth integration of Mirage 2005F into the Ukrainian Air Force operations. The first round of training took place I think in January 2025, which um, basically that was the first training session with additional sessions planned for the following months. And France's commitment to sending the Mirage 2005F aircraft to Ukraine highlights the broader European and NATO strategy to support Ukraine's defense efforts, with air superiority being a crucial factor in modern warfare. Um, the addition of this advanced aircraft strengthens Ukrainian ability to defend its airspace, counter drones incursions, and protect its sovereignty from ongoing Russian aggression. Now, before getting too far off track, let's refocus on the Mirage aircraft. Um, Basically, let's talk a little bit about the Mirage 2005F. The Mirage 2005F is one of the most advanced designed specifically for a multi-role missions with a focus on air superiority and precision strike capabilities. Um, the Mirage 2005F is an upgraded version tailored to the French Air Force for a specific needs, offering enhanced avionics, improved radar system, and increased operational flexibility with its highly capable RDI radar. The Mirage 2005F can effectively uh, detect and track small, low flying objects such as drones. This makes it an ideal asset for air defense missions and environments where drones threats are prominent. The delta wing design of the aircraft also grants it superiority, making it highly responsive to the fast moving targets. A key advantage when engaging drones that are typically small, fast, and hard to intercept. The Mirage 2005F capable of engage several threats simultaneously. This is a crucial in a high density environments where multiple drones might be operating at once. Additionally, the aircraft is armed with highly effective the Mica IR infrared missile, which can engage fast moving and low flying targets with a high precision. The Mica IR missile, um, with a range of, I think it's over 60 kilometers, is designed to target agile UAVs, delivering a devastating strike with a minimal collateral damage, making it an ideal weapon for neutralizing suicide drones for reconnaissance UAVs in hostile environments. On February 10th, 2025, General Jerome Bellinger, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right, the Chief of Staff of French Air Force and Space Force, shared a video of a real-time footage of the aircraft successfully neutralizing a UAV, underscoring the Mirage 2005F is a role in countering aerial threats in the Middle East. The French forces have used the Mirage 2005F and Rafale to protect both military and civilian assets from drone attacks, particularly from groups like the Houthi rebels, who have used drones to target maritime traffic and military positions. These operations highlight the Mirage 2000F versatility in various operational environments, from securing airspace to intercepting hostile drones. Moving on, so France is gradually phasing out its Mirage 2000 fleet with basically plans to retire the Mirage 2005F variant, I believe, in 2029, and also the Mirage 2000D version in 2035, um, as the Dassault Rafale replaces them, while some Mirages 2005F, as I've mentioned earlier, were donated to Ukraine. Um, but a portion of fleet remains in service with the French Air Force and Space Force. I think they use them for air defense and, in some cases, for providing an air-to-ground strike capabilities. Now, moving from the historical trajectory to the model itself, right? So, to begin with, this model is made by Hobbymaster 1/72 scale. Under model number is HA1614. Unfortunately, all the Mirage models in my collection are rather old releases. This is actually the newest Mirage in my collection. Now, it may sound funny, while technically it's not the newest Mirage, but there is other Mirages that precedes this one. So at least to me, it's still new. The the availability of this particular example is uncertainty, but the good news is there are quite similar examples to this release. After checking on eBay some months back, and I think I found only a couple of sellers were selling this model, and the prices were fairly high. So bear in mind. So let's discuss the paint scheme of this model. Hobby Master has done an exceptional job regarding the quality of the finish, and the intensity of this blue and gray is superb, and the level of details on the markings insignia very well done. For example, the Army de l'Air, um, in the back, I know there might not be enough resolution in the back, but trust me, they're dialed in. And also the French roundel, which followed by blue and white and red. All those are perfectly executed. Also, the red demarcation on the upper side of the wings, it's a very well done. All the labels, the French stenciling on the fuselage is detailed. Um, the cockpit details are excellent. You'll get a removable pilot figure, allowing you to display the model with it or without it. And the dual sets of canopies, both are removable. The engine nozzle in the back, I think it's solid, but it would have been nice touch if they'd add a little silver paint to make it really pop. But that's just Hobby Master thing. Moving on. Speaking about the armament, you'll get a two Matra Super. I think it's called the 530 semi-active radar air-to-air, and also you'll get two Mica IR short-range air-to-air missiles, and ultimately four MBDA or Mica RF missiles, and lastly one centerline fuel tank. Looks like it's a strict air-to-air platform. One note: my expertise on the European armament, it's kind of limited, so excuse my knowledge, folks. But clarification would be appreciated. Moving on, the standard Hobby Master stand is included with the model for the flight configuration. Overall, the model captures the true lines and profile of the real-life aircraft. The assembly parts were friendly. There were no fitment concerns, with this particular example. Do note, however, the front landing gear cover fits very flush within the fuselage. That being said, unfortunately, there isn't any external grip points. However, you can open it by reaching the inside of the cockpit. What you want to do, you can use some kind of needle or the panel removal that basically comes with every Hobbymaster model. You just got to push it all the way there, and the door panel will come off freely, and you'll be good to go. The other thing I'd like to mention here, be careful when you open the box. Do not lift the model by the refueling probe. It is a very delicate component, so to avoid that fate, try to handle the model by other robust areas such as the fuselage or the wings. Um, you don't want to snap that piece, right? And fixing it with the glue might not put it back on the right place. Trust me, it won't be a good day for you. The other thing is I like to highlight that the ground equipment and accessories in the intro shot are not included with the model, such as the crew ladder, the wheel chocks, the jack stands. These items are sold separately, so they are not included with the model. These accessories are for demonstration purposes only. For the sake of transparency, just to prevent any disappointments, as a creator on this channel, there is an obligation to be transparent and honest with my subscribers, and I will always operate this channel with integrity. Anyway, this model is beautiful. I'm a big fan of French fighters, the Mirages, the Rafale, especially those with a delta wing design, are particularly elegant, at least in my humble opinion. And it's a clear statement that this design choice makes them stand out from the other aircraft. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. Um, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I highly recommend this rendition, and for those of you who are big fans of French fighters, adding at least a couple Mirages to your collection, I think it's a great idea. Now, before we wrap things up, I'll offer some tidbits what my next video's plans are. So the next review will be on the Rafale, and the next one will be on the F-15, particularly the NASA version. Next, we have the MiG-29 Fulcrum, so stay tuned for that. However, work circumstances are very unpredictable, so plans might have to change. Sometimes things fall behind, but I'll do my best to stay on the track. So with that, things are wrapping up. If you enjoyed this video, like and please subscribe for more epic content, and share your thoughts in the comments. Well, feedback helps create better videos, right? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.